Good afternoon. My name is Jens Ludwig. I'm the Pritzker Faculty Director of the University of Chicago Crime Lab, which I started back in 2008 with Rosanna Ander and Harold Pollack to use data to help government and nonprofits across the country reduce gun violence and promote justice. Thanks so very much to the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention for hosting us today. It's an incredible honor for all of us to be here. Thanks so much to Assistant Attorney General Amy Solomon for being here, from Maryland Governor Wes Moore, and of course, Vice President Harris. You don't need me to tell you that this is a historic event. This is a historic day. That's a testament, first and foremost, to the importance of the problem that's brought us all here today. The people in this room know better than almost anyone the burden that gun violence imposes on people in America, especially in our Black and brown communities. This day is a testament also to the incredible work that all of you are doing around the country in your local communities to try and realize the promise of community violence intervention. Are we allowed to clap in the Indian Treaty? I think we can clap. It's a testament to the amazing work of the CVI Leadership Academy Steering Committee, which in a very short amount of time has put together a world-class curriculum and a world-class educational program that embodies what the University of Chicago is about, and it's up to the challenge that we face as a country. I think we can clap again for the steering committee. And finally, this day is a testament to the man I'm about to introduce. Someone I'm very proud to be able to call not just a colleague, but a friend, someone from whom I've learned so much over the years. System-impacted Dr. Chico Tillman has lived a life of trying to change his community in a positive way. After receiving his PhD from the University of Illinois at Chicago, he has, among other things, served as the executive director of the YMCA of Metro Chicago's Youth Safety and Violence Prevention programs. He served as executive director of Heartland Alliance's National Ready Center for Safer Communities. He serves on the leadership team of the Black and Brown Peace Consortium. And now it is our great fortune at the University of Chicago to have him as the executive director of the Community Violence Intervention Leadership Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and my pleasure to introduce my friend, Dr. Chico Tillman.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Chico Tillman, and I'm the Executive Director of the Community Violence Intervention Academy. And I'm honored to welcome you to the first ever graduation of the CVI Leadership Academy. I traveled a long way to be here. And I just don't mean from the city of Chicago. I mean from the streets. My story is one of redemption. It's a story of how the most powerful tool we have to heal is the power we have within ourselves. With support from our community and a little bit of hope, we can overcome any challenge. And when we do, we have the responsibility to pass on that blessing through service, the truest form of redemption. That's not just my story, it's our story. It's the story of CVI. The most people impacted by gun violence are the antidote to the violence. But like my story, the CVI field can't do this work alone. We need our communities, we need our allies, and we need our leaders to be champions for the work of saving lives. This room is filled with those champions. And I'm so honored to introduce our fiercest, Vice President Kamala Harris. Vice President Harris has been a voice for Black communities her entire career. From her days in San Francisco to her time in the U.S. Senate, reducing gun violence in our communities has been her life's work. And look around. When she made it to the White House, she brought us with her. And we're not just talking about speeches and handshakes, we're talking about results. Because of her leadership in the Biden and Harris administration, the CBI Field secured the largest federal investment in community-based violence intervention reduction in American history. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to introduce the head of the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention, our sister in the work who supports us in saving lives, none other than our Vice President Kamala Harris.
Please have a seat. Good afternoon, everyone. So Dr. Chico and I were talking in the back about, last time I saw you was during the holidays. You came to my house. Talking about this and about what we're going to do to follow through on our commitments to the community, to each other, and to our country, right? Because the work of community work, and in particular violence intervention, is about investing in the community, understanding our capacity, understanding the greatness, and then being motivated with that knowledge to do what we can to reduce harm, but not for the sake only of reducing harm, but in investing in the potential and the greatness. That is the essence of this work. I want to thank the Governor of Maryland, Governor Moore, for his leadership. Westmore and I have had so many conversations about this work, and I know he's going to replicate this in a big old way in Maryland and put everybody to shame in terms of showing what states can do when you have people at the top who understand, again, the capacity and the brilliance that is in the community, and it just takes the resources to support the good work to make it real. So I thank everybody who is here for all that you have done, and in particular the graduates. Where are the graduates? There we are, right in front. The inaugural class. Look at this. So this is, I would say, an historic day. Because these role models, being the inaugural class to graduate, are going to now be the ones who can show folks how it gets done. You know, the thing about being a role model is a room full of role models, right? People watch what you do to say, okay, that's how you achieve success. And if that's being done there, I'm inspired by their life story and how they did it, and I'm going to do the same thing. Because now what people perhaps had never seen before can be seen to know what's possible. But the brilliance of this inaugural class and its leaders is the ability to see what can be, unburdened by what has been, and then to make it real. And now to make it real in a way that it will be replicated around our country. So I congratulate everyone here and the graduates for all you have put into this and all you do. It's hard work. And I think some people really underestimate the hard work that comes with caring about folks. It's easy to look away, to overlook, to think about other things instead of the things that are difficult to think about. It takes a very special person to, with clear eyes, see the pain in other people, to see the need in other people, and then to take it as your life's work to do something that is about healing and uplifting the condition and the spirit of other people. And I'll say that, you know, Governor, you and I have talked about this. I think there's a certain perversion that has taken place over the last few years in our country that would suggest that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down, instead of what we know, which is that the true measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up. That the characteristic of real leaders is the character that has some level of curiosity, concern, and care about the suffering of other people, and then takes it upon themselves as part of their life's work and mission to uplift the condition of other people. And that's who you are, and that's how you do what you do, in a way that is going to inspire so many people. The spirit behind this work is also the spirit of understanding the significance of a principle I grew up with called self-determination. Self-determination, which we all have and should value in each other. And Doctor, you talked about redemption, which is an age-old concept. It transcends religions. But the notion and the idea that, look, everybody's going to make a mistake. For some, that might rise to the level of being a crime. But is it not the sign of a civil society that we allow people a way back and to embrace them and join together as a community of people? All of that is the spirit behind this work. It is the spirit of understanding that, and I say this as a former prosecutor, that when we are dealing with violence in the community, understand there are an extraordinary number of factors that have nothing to do with who an individual is, that will help you predict whether violence will occur in a community or not. Are those public schools well funded? What is the level of home ownership in the community? Access to capital for small businesses, access to health care, access to mental health care that is also culturally competent. What is happening in that community to support young parents, knowing all young parents have a natural desire to parent their children well, but not necessarily the skills or resources. But when given that support, they do it beautifully. And see, this is the other thing about this work that I love, because it is understanding that we must see people through the complexity of everybody's life. We all live a multifaceted existence. And so it's about intervention in a way that we understand the full dimension of who people are. And we respect it, and we understand it. All of that is the spirit that is behind the work that you all are committed to doing. And again, I say it takes a very special person to truly see other people, to truly see them, and to say to them, and have the courage to be able to do it, I see you. It takes a very special person. And so for all of those reasons, I congratulate the graduates. We are here because we also know that when it comes to gun violence, we got a lot of work to do. And it is about everything from what happens in this town. I'm pointing to the direction of what I believe is the Capitol. and what needs to happen in terms of people who otherwise have evidenced themselves having a feckless quality, to show some courage, to reject the false notion that suggests you're either in favor of the Second Amendment or you want to take everyone's guns away, when in fact it's just reasonable. I support the Second Amendment, but it's reasonable to say we need an assault weapons ban. It's reasonable to say we need universal background checks, that we need red flag laws. It's reasonable to say that if you want to deal with violence in the community, you also got to understand it's not only about mass shooting situations, which are horrific, and it's about everyday gun violence. It's about understanding that any life lost is a life too many. It's about understanding what we all know, that one of the residual effects of the violence that we witness and see and that the community experiences is an extraordinary level of trauma, which is inherited, not genetically, but it is inherited. And unless there is significant intervention that includes putting the resources into diagnosis and treatment, that the trauma will continue to be inherited and perpetuate itself in behaviors that are often unproductive. It is about understanding if we are to deal with the effects and the cause of violence, we need to consider the fact that, look, there is the piece of it that also is about what we need to do to acknowledge pain. And underlying that point, it's kind of normal. Most people don't like to feel pain. And they're either going to figure out a way to relieve themselves of feeling that pain through productive or unproductive vehicles. And that, again, is the point of emphasizing in this work the mental health component, which is part of the model that you all are modeling for the rest of the country. So I say all of that to say that I see leaders from law enforcement who are here, Charlie Beck, who have understood that if we want safe communities, all of these issues must be addressed. I again want to thank Dr. Chico, because it's about then having the leaders who can pull together the coalition of all the folks who are here to actually make this real. And so all of that to say, it is my great honor to address, to recognize, and to congratulate the inaugural class of this most extraordinary initiative. Congratulations, everyone. Congratulations. Come take a picture with me. Come on. Here.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, my
Thank
dear.
you.
Come on. Come here. There we go. Come on, graduation picture time.
Olivia, take the badge off.
Oh yeah, it'll make for a better picture if you can take your badge off.
Oh, man. Thank you.
Okay, there we go. Oh, there we are. Mr. Jackson.
21 Love salute.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
We gotta go
I
back
know.
4 more years.
I know. I'm gonna keep talking about you, everybody. Congratulations, my dear. Thank you. Thank you. We're doing it together, right? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Getting it done, right? Congratulations. Thank you. I would like to have a press person here somewhere. There, Okay. I'm glad you asked. Listen, I have been privileged and proud to serve as Vice President of the United States with Joe Biden as President of the United States. And what I saw of that report last night, I believe is, as a former prosecutor, the comments that were made by that prosecutor, gratuitous, inaccurate, and inappropriate. October 7th, Israel experienced a horrific attack, and I will tell you, we got the calls, the president and myself, in the hours after that occurred. It was an intense moment for the Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America, and I was in almost every meeting with the president in the hours and days that followed. Countless hours with the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, the heads of our intelligence community, and the president was in front of and on top of it all, asking questions and requiring that America's military and intelligence community and diplomatic community would figure out and know how many people were dead, how many are Americans, how many hostages, is the situation stable? He was in front of it all, coordinating and directing leaders who are in charge of America's national security, not to mention our allies around the globe. For days, and up until now, months. So the way that the president's demeanor in that report was characterized could not be more wrong on the facts and clearly politically motivated, gratuitous. And so I will say that when it comes to the role and responsibility of a prosecutor in a situation like that, we should expect that there would be a higher level of integrity than what we saw. Thank you. Thank you for the question.
From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank Vice President Harris for our partnership and leadership. Let's give her a round of applause. Honestly, there was a part of me that couldn't believe I was actually watching the Vice President speak in this close proximity. 3 years ago, this academy was just an idea. Now we're at the White House celebrating its inaugural graduation. I would be remiss if I did first thank some people in this room who made it happen. I have to start with our illustrious steering committee. None other than my sister and friend, Erica Ford, for being the brainchild. Dr. Antonio, Dr. Shani Buggs, Marcus McAllister, Arisa Napper Williams, Anthony Smith, even though he couldn't be present, Pastor Michael McBride, and of course the person that brought us all together and unified us, Amber Goodwin. In addition to that, I have to recognize Julian Thompson and Catherine Broganegra, who are the authors of the curriculum and help convene, organize, and gather the thoughts of so many people, along with my friend and colleague who walked that path with me, none other than Giovanni Cabinet. In addition, I have to thank my friends at the University of Chicago who saw our dream and supported us into making it a reality. And for that, I have to thank Jens Ludwig, the faculty director, and my big sister and friend, none other than our executive director of the Crime Lab and founder, Rosanna Anders. Now, there would be no graduation without the inaugural cohort, and I thank you. You are leaders here from all across the country on the front lines fighting the gun violence epidemic every day. The work you do is so difficult, dangerous, and too often thankless. But you do it because you love communities, you love your city, and you love your country. And because of that love, you refuse to accept that the community violence is inevitable. You refuse to accept that Black Americans are 12 times more likely to be killed by gun violence than our white brothers and sisters. You refuse to accept that gun violence is the leading cause of death for young Black men in America, more than next 9 leading causes of combined death. And you refuse to accept that we're powerless to do something about it. We're here because we do have the power. We're here because we know CVI works. Our programs save lives. They restore communities. They give our participants hope. You know that because you see it every day. Some of you have been doing this work and seeing results for decades. But I'm here to tell you, now we see you. You are the antidote to the community violence. You are the change makers and the lifesavers. And we're going all in investing on you. That's what Community Violence Intervention Leadership Academy is all about. It's simple, but a radical idea. Let's provide CVI leaders across the country with world-class education at the University of Chicago. Our goal, to elevate and professionalize the field so that CVI is a core pillar of America's public safety ecosystem. And that's exactly what we're doing. Over the last 6 months, you've learned lessons in organizational leadership, data use, violence prevention, and community engagement. You participated in immersive learning labs in Chicago, New York, and Oakland. And now you're taking that knowledge back home to 21 cities across America. But besides that, I also want you to go home with this, a renewed conviction that we will win the fight against community violence. You've got your fellow graduates behind you, you've got the field behind you, you've got the White House behind you. Together, we're going to save lives. Thank you, congratulations, and let's get to work.
Those are some hard acts to follow. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rosanna Ander. I helped to start the Crime Lab 15 years ago, and I've been the founding executive director since then, and it has been such a privilege and honor to do this work. I have the great privilege now of bringing up our next speaker. Governor Moore is truly a national treasure. Going back to his days at Robin Hood, his work focused on creating opportunity for everyone. In his State of the State just yesterday, I believe, or Tuesday, he announced the first ever statewide Office of Gun Violence Prevention and Intervention. So we're gonna get to hear from him. I know he has to scoot out early, so I wanna get you up here as quickly as possible. Thank you so much, Governor Moore, for joining us. So come on up.
Thank y'all so much. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What's up, family? How are y'all doing? All right. Man, this is a blessed day, isn't it? It's a blessed day. Thank you. And Rosanna, thank you so much. Thank you for not just the beautiful introduction, but just for your leadership. This is what happened when vision meets action, is that you get results, right? But you need both. You need vision and you need action. You can't just have hope, that you need work, because as the good book says, faith without work is dead, right? So this is what happens when faith and work gets together. Amen? Amen. Amen. So bless you and thank you. Thank you for this work. And it's true. I mean, this is good because this is like a reunion. Because I'm looking around, I'm seeing folks who I've been working with on this work for years. Right, Miss C? That's right. People who have lifted our communities for so long. Dr. Tillman, what? People who continue to lift up our community. Continue to invest in our community. Continue to see things that other people don't, or other people just choose not to see when they look at our community. Ray, thank you for constantly being a friend and a valued leader in this work. To the entire Crime Lab, University of Chicago, the work that you all have continued to do has been revolutionary, because you haven't just asked people to not turn away. You've given them continued things to push on and show them that we can actually have results if we come from a place of love. That the way we have to think about this work is not about how do we first focus on being punitive. It's not about asking and going to communities and thinking that we can save communities. It's removing the barriers that have been intentionally placed in our community's place in the first place. It's about how can we actually unleash the larger promise that we all hope for and that we all see. And for all the graduates, this is a celebration of you. It's a celebration of your work, and it's a celebration of your commitment. It's not just a celebration of what you've done, it's a celebration of what you're going to do next. And it's an understanding for each and every one of you, you do not have to do this work. You could choose to do something else. In fact, it'd be easier if you did. It'd be less painful. It'd be simpler. The hours would be shorter. You know what I mean? You choose to serve. You choose to do the hard thing. You choose to every day go into a space that you understand where every single day there's only two guarantees. Your heart will be filled and your heart will be broken. Every day. And you choose to get up and you continue to do it again. You all, we celebrate you not just because of a sense of completion. We celebrate you because of a sense of continuation. The fact that you keep on going and you keep on pushing. You know, I'm new to politics. I've been an elected official for 13 months now. And part of the reason that I know who you are and we work together is because before I decided to run for elected office, I was in the work, right? Understanding the basic idea that our communities deserve better. And that the measure of brokenness that we are fighting through and continuing to try to heal has happened because of a measure of intentionality. But I tell you this, I've been the governor of my state for 13 months. And there are two words that have dominated my days in ways that have been completely heartbreaking: guns and violence. As the chief executive of my state, those two words, I have to hear about them, I have to deal with the consequences, I have to deal with the implications, I have to spend far too much time with families and victims than I would have possibly imagined would have been the case sitting in this seat and sitting in this room. Where I think about, when we think about in a place, in a space, in a state like mine, where we have over 800 Marylanders every single year who will die because of gun violence. 800 in my state. At a time when the leading cause of death for African American children in my state is gun violence. We know we have a lot of work to do. But the beautiful thing about today is we know we're not alone doing the work. That the reason that we can stand here and be optimistic about a future, the reason we can stand here and be optimistic about what it is that we're hoping to get done and what we will accomplish and what we will get done is none of us are standing alone. Each and every one of us are standing not just on the shoulders of giants who came before us, but we're standing here, standing next to the shoulders of giants who are standing with us. Where there is nothing, no challenge, no obstacle that we are going to end up facing that is going to be too big or too bad for this group to be able to take on. We do the work because we know we're not alone. We do the work because we know now is the time when we don't have to give in to these false choices. And we don't have to give in to the idea that sometimes, and when you hear pundits talk about it, they talk about public safety with a sense of simplicity, instead of being willing to deal into the complexity in the way that people actually live. Our ability to miss the simplicity and delve into the complexity, and our ability to make sure that the people who we are invested in and the communities that we love because they loved us first, that they are going to be the ones they're going to get our full respect. We need you all. We need you graduates to keep doing what you're doing. We need you to keep believing in the way you're believing. We need you to love the way that you are loving. To all the graduates today, you are not just making history, but because of the work that you are doing every single day, you will make gun violence history in your communities. Every day you make a change, you're making things better. Every time you intervene, that is lives being saved. Every life that you save, that's a community being renewed. Every community that is being renewed, that is a city that is being rebirthed. Every city that is rebirthed, that is a country that's meeting its greatest angels. You are changing the way we see ourselves. You're changing the hope that we have of ourselves. And when the story of this moment is written, the beautiful thing is each and every one of your fingerprints are going to be on that page. That's why this work matters. Gun violence impacts every single asset and facet of our community. And so every part of our community needs to come up with the solutions. And I want to say, the fact that we have a president and a vice president that is willing to invest in this work right now, that is not willing to look away, that understands that thoughts and prayers and condolences is not where this needs to stop. Because I can tell you right now, I am grateful for the fact that we have a president and a vice president who takes this so seriously. Because I have said to the people of my state, I refuse to spend my time in office giving thoughts and prayers and just simply attending funerals and not doing a single thing to pass legislation or work with community groups that are actually on the ground doing the work. So this is the time that we will work in coordination to make sure we're getting these illegal guns out of our streets and out of our neighborhoods, and also going after those who continue to funnel them into our neighborhoods. That this is the time that we will work with every part of our group, every part of our community, from working from law enforcement to education professionals to mental health providers, as helping people who are then both trying to navigate the complexity of the world that they inherited and the complexity of the world they are living in, but also making sure that we can be a society that actually makes second chances mean something. And know that it is our duty to make sure that every sentence should not be a life sentence. Making sure that our young people know that there should not be a reason nor a need for them to feel like they have to walk around with a firearm to keep themselves in terms of basic protection. Just last week, we were out in a school over in Anne Arundel County in Maryland, Glen Burnie High School. And we had a roundtable with children. And I asked this roundtable with children, how many of y'all feel like you need to be able to have something on you to be able to navigate the day? And I watched nearly every hand shoot up. That's not an indictment on them. It's an indictment on us. But our ability to be able to deal with those things and be holistic about it, that's what this moment is going to require. And so a few weeks ago, our team rolled out what is our public safety agenda for 2024 in the state of Maryland. And I was very proud to have two very special guests with us, Greg Jackson and Rob Wilcox. Y'all have to understand, this is a big deal for us, man. We're giving our address on Public Safety 2024. We got the White House coming out here. But it meant a whole lot, not just because it was the White House coming out. It meant a lot because we had two soldiers in the work who were coming out. People who've continued to devote their time and their energy and their hearts to making sure that our young people are seen and that our adults can have a chance to live a full and a safe life. And so I want to personally, once again, just thank you for not just your presence, because presence does matter, but I want to thank you for your presence inside of this work. Thank you so much. Thank you. And it was also there that we were very proud to announce that after a meeting with the Vice President, she said, I want states to also take the lead on this. I want to be clear, in the state of Maryland, we don't mind leading. We actually enjoy leading in the state of Maryland. And so Maryland, yes, sir, yes, we do. Yes, we do. And that's why we were proud of the fact that Maryland became the first state to launch a statewide Center for Firearm Violence Prevention and Intervention. We will lead and we will show that states can take leadership in getting this work done. So we're grateful. We're grateful for the fact that we can be your partners inside this work. We're grateful for the fact that we know that this is not what states can do to fix this issue, but it's what states can do to support those who are already fixing it in the first place. What states can do to make sure that we can pass laws to make sure we can get illegal guns and keep illegal guns out of our streets, but it also makes sure that the people who are on the ground doing the work, the ones who understand the challenges, that they're taking their rightful leadership in this work too. Today's a celebration of not of a completion. Today is a celebration of continuation, of the leaders you already are. And I know we got some Marylanders in this graduating class too. Hey. Freedom and Dante. I apologize, y'all. I'm the governor of Maryland. This is a point of personal privilege for me. Dante is the director for community-based violence interventions at the Living Classrooms Foundation, doing remarkable work all throughout Baltimore. Freedom is the director for community violence intervention programs at the Center for Hope. Both of y'all see us. You see Baltimore. For the beautiful place and for the beautiful spirits of that place on earth, like yours, like mine, hometown. And I thank you for understanding that our communities are not places that need to be fixed. These are our jewels that need to be unearthed. And I thank you for believing and investing in that, because we're talking about communities that oftentimes are undervalued and underseen. No more. No more. And it's because that y'all are making it so. And we're eternally grateful. Because this is the time we can actually get this right. This is the time when we can help every child to understand that they are seen and nourished and loved. This is a time when every single child should understand that no matter where they came from, no matter what their family lineage is, no matter their neighborhood, that they are a prized asset in the future of our communities. And we will do everything in our power to make sure that no harm comes their way, because they deserve that. Each and every one of you, y'all inspire me, because you all chose to do the work. You all chose to do the hard work when it's not simple, when it's not easy, when other people can simply back away and find other things to do with their time. But you all choose to believe and you choose to invest. And so we do face some big challenges. But I say this, let us not be weary in the work. Let us not forget why we do this, because if you never forget who you're fighting for, you will never stop fighting. If you never forget what's at stake, you never let the stakes intimidate you. We didn't create these problems, but we will defeat them. In our time, in this moment, you are not just the present, you are our future. So keep marching. And remember this, facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on until victory is won. God bless you guys and congratulations.
Again, I don't know why I agreed to come after such amazing people. Thank you, Governor Moore. That was so inspirational. Thank you for your leadership. We're so honored. You're putting all the other governors to shame. Great. Well, in 2008, when we launched the University of Chicago Crime Lab, we had really high hopes, but I would not have dared to dream that we might end up here at the White House. So I also want to extend my profound gratitude to Vice President Harris and the Biden-Harris administration for welcoming us and this work with open arms. In starting the Crime Lab, our goal was to use data, science, and evidence in partnership with frontline practitioners and policymakers to solve the most pressing challenges facing our city and our nation, most notably the scourge of gun violence. This academy is that mission come to life. It embodies our commitment to not simply study the world as it is, but rather to use data and science and a world-class education to directly engage in real-world change as a force for good. The Academy stands as a testament to our belief that we can reduce gun violence and do so without compromising fairness and justice. To the graduates, from New York City to Washington, D.C., Orlando, Atlanta, our very own Chicago, rolling deep in Chicago, all the way from Portland, Oregon, where my family hails from, and Sacramento, you have taken an enormous leap of faith to join this inaugural cohort, spending precious time away from your work and from your loved ones. Over these past 6 months, we've seen your hunger for knowledge, your tireless dedication to saving lives. In return, I hope the Academy has provided you with the space to reflect, to be challenged, and to challenge others, and to deepen your impact to advance safety and justice. This program has brought all of you together, creating a network of peers. Remember, you are not facing this alone. You are part of a fellowship now, a true community. We hope you're now better equipped to build bridges with partners to address the roots of violence and to inspire your communities and your neighbors. Your mission is to cool the embers of conflict, to integrate the science of peace and safety into the fabric of your communities. Now you carry with you not just a certificate, but the collective aspirations of the communities you serve and those who will follow in your footsteps. We are here at the White House because you are the hope our country's leaders have held for our future. In this endeavor, we know that building safe and healthy communities extends far beyond the power of the badge and the gun, although we do love our Chief Beck. It is about nurturing people and building a civilian architecture that promotes peace. As I look at you all today, know that we will continue to invest in you, believe in you, and celebrate you, our strong leaders. And this is just the beginning. We see that state and local governments, and today the federal government, recognize the promise of CVI. They're allocating more resources towards expanding this field. We see this as a vote of confidence, and we won't let them down. Today, we are not just celebrating your graduation, but the beginning of a new chapter in the story of community safety in the United States. One that you, the students, will write in the days and years to come. So congratulations, and my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you. Next, I get to introduce two inspiring leaders on whose shoulders many of us have stood, who have been in this work for a very long time and who continue to inspire us each and every day. Oressa Napper-Williams, Executive Director of Not Another Child, and Anthony Smith, Executive Director of Cities United.
Good afternoon. I am humbled and honored to stand before you today. It's been a long time coming, and we are here. Today marks a historic moment made possible by the dedicated efforts of many individuals. I extend my heartfelt appreciation to the CVI LA Steering Committee, and you've heard their names over and over, but you cannot thank them enough. Dr. Antonio, Dr. Shani Buggs, Erica Ford, Pastor Mike, Marcus, and others for laying a solid foundation, and to the CVI LA staff for continuing the mission with integrity and excellence, along with the University of Chicago Crime Lab. Now, I heard the governor and Dr. Chico and Roseanne, they screamed out their cities, huh? So you know, you already know. I'm grateful for New York, that is in the house, not just their presence physically, but also a part of the Leadership Academy, Nicole and Faith and Nuke, and then we even got, we have upstate, we have Dwayne, upstate. So we are proud of our New Yorkers, but of all of Cohort 1. Gratitude to A.T. Mitchell. I'm also indebted to my bishop, Pastor Hezekiah Walker, and the Not Another Child Board for supporting my purpose. Expressing appreciation to President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, Greg, Rob, and Stephanie for their recognition of the crucial need to establish an Office of Gun Violence Prevention within the White House and for spearheading the implementation of Community Violence Awareness Week. Let's give it up for them. Dr. Chico, your visionary leadership transforms challenges into triumphs, and your dedication sets a standard that inspires us all. Lastly, my number one supporters, my husband Russ, my sons Justin and Karan. Now I know you're wondering, but these acknowledgments are intentional. They're a reminder that greatness doesn't happen in isolation. Cohort, surround yourself not only with like-minded individuals, but also those who will challenge and bring diversity to your thoughts. Our progress in this field is a result of collaboration from great minds nationwide. As the founder and CEO of Not Another Child, I carry the weight of countless survivors who lack the strength to speak. Today I speak for our beloved ones, my son Andrell Duran Napper, and countless others that cannot speak for themselves. I wear the burden of weight for those who we have lost to gun violence, bearing the burden of their unrealized dreams. Usually wearing the weight is a figure of speech, but today I wear the weight of them physically. I chose to bring them to a place that they will never see, a house that they have made it to, but only through death. They never had the opportunity to live and dream, but you do. Thank you for taking advantage of this opportunity, for seizing this time to enhance the work that you do. The enriched education of CVI-LA, combined with your vast experience and unparalleled expertise, serves as a powerful catalyst in empowering and uplifting communities. Your commitment to excellence ensures that you not only navigate the challenges with finesse, but also inspire positive transformation. Your impact resonates far beyond the academic realm, creating a legacy of enlightenment and progress. Together, your knowledge and dedication form an unstoppable force, driving change and fostering growth within the communities you touch. I entered this work as a survivor, thrust into a mission that continues to go far beyond myself, not knowing where this path would lead me. You are similar, becoming a part of groundbreaking history for yourselves, for your families, for the field, for the University of Chicago, but mostly for our communities. In the face of ongoing public safety crisis, plaguing cities across America, with currently over 300 people being killed or wounded daily, and big ups to New York because I believe we had 300 for the year. The urgency to address these issues is undeniable. It's a continuing reality that communities of color bear a disproportionate burden of the devastating effects of gun violence, compounded by a history of systemic divestment. While significant financial or fiscal investments mark the beginning of the journey to restore our communities and help them heal, recover, and grow, the true anchor lies in your leadership, your foresight, and your unwavering commitment to this work. Your pivotal role transcends any financial investment, although we do need them. It represents a catalyst for profound change, steering the course towards lasting transformation and equity. My hope and prayer is that this experience has stretched you and your thinking of this work, that you use every tool that has been learned to continue to save and heal. May your impactful efforts persist in transforming hurt into healing, pain into peace, and trauma into tenacity. Your dedicated work serves as a beacon of hope, reshaping adversity into resilience and despair into strength. Your pursuit is not just a mission. It is a profound journey towards a world where each step resonates with the echoes of profounding healing and unwavering perseverance. Together, we forge a path toward a future free from the shackles of gun violence. I want to give the next 7 seconds as a moment of silence to all who have transitioned, but moreover, a moment of gratefulness for all who have been impacted by this work. Thank you and congratulations.
So good afternoon, folks. I'm so excited to be here with you all. My name is Anthony Smith, and I'm the Executive Director with Cities United. I want to give a shout out, Mayor Nutter is in the house, for his vision for Cities United. And when Dr. Chico asked me to do this, right, it's like first I said yes, then you get nervous, right? Then you start seeing the lineup of who's going to speak, you get nervous. But I've been thinking a lot about what the theme, and I've been hearing it from other folks, it's like the journey continues, right? We're on this journey to not only save lives, but to change the course of the way this country operates and how it defines public safety. So I'm thankful and humbled to be able to share remarks during this historic moment of our collective journey together. Today is just another milestone in our journey. It's just another marker in our work as we all work together to create a comprehensive public safety system, a system that allows us to identify and engage and support those who are most at risk, a system that's focused on healing and redemption, as you heard earlier from other folks as Dr. Chico spoke. This is a system that allows us to support folks as they navigate broken systems, to find new pathways to peace and to justice and to a brighter future. I want to give a special thanks to the President Biden and Vice President Harris for their continued support of our work. As you heard, they have come and supported us in ways that other administrations have not. So it's a thankful time in our community. I want to also give a special shout out to Ambassador Rice and Julie Rodriguez for the role that they played in helping to get us here during their time in the Biden-Harris administration. Thank you. Their leadership and leadership of others in this room allowed us to get to the place where we have this new White House Office on Gun Violence Prevention. Shout out to Steph, Greg, and Rob for their taking the reins and helping lead us in this new journey that we're on, in this new phase of the journey. We have been advocating for an office for years. A special shout out to Pastor Mike, who is not here as well, for his advocacy and leadership at this role, trying to make sure that we get that and we move that. But the journey is not ending in this room. This is a beginning of a new journey. We have these young, not young folks, some young, some old, seasoned folks who are helping us along this way. This office is just the start. You heard the governor say they're putting one in Maryland. We want one in every city. We want one in every county. We want one in every state because this work is important. It matters to us to make sure that we have these offices because they play such a vital role in creating the safe, healthy, and hopeful communities that we all want. We are here today to celebrate the growth of our field, right? This field is a field that has been built for decades, for folks that some of us have never known, some of us who have never seen, but we know that this work was built in Black and brown communities before it made it to universities, before it made a name to it. Folks have been getting up every day trying to save lives and figuring it out without support, without resources, just saying we've got to do something different because we love our kids. So we're here today to celebrate that. We're here to celebrate each of the folks in this room and the thousands of our partners who helped us get to this part of our journey. We also want to take a moment and remember those who we've lost in this work, right? We've lost soldiers and folks who have been on the front lines with us in this work and around the country. Some names we know, some names we'll never know, but we want to make sure that we remember them and bring them into this room with us as well. The real stars in this room are the 31 folks from the 21 cities, and I can't say my city because nobody from the, but I'm still going to represent Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you, Fatima. Thank you, Fatima. There go Cards, my man. Somebody knows. And just want to thank you all, as Arissa said, for saying yes to this Community Leadership Academy. Not knowing what you were saying yes to, knowing that you were going to be spending a week away from your family, from your work. I also want to thank your organizations that supported you and said, yes, go do this. I think that's a huge part. People see the value in you and what you bring, and saying that's going to come back and help us grow as an organization, us grow as a city. So thank you all for saying yes to this one-of-a-kind, first-of-a-kind management leadership training initiative designed to provide senior leadership to CVR leaders with the necessary skills to increase their impact of themselves and their organization and the field overall. You all went through 6 months, flew into Chicago 4 times, went to Oakland, went to New York, and got to see the work firsthand, but also got to bring all your experiences into those rooms and not only learn from folks, but share with folks and teach folks as well. So to do that work, it takes a lot of time and commitment. And I also got to shout out the folks who I got to work with on this curriculum. It was an amazing journey, and you've heard their names, but I think you got to continue to hear people's names because I think it's important for folks who get to do this work together. Erica Ford, Dr. Bugs, Dr. Antonio, Marcus, Greg with us when we were building this out, Pastor Mike, Arissa, and Dr. Chico. And if I missed anybody, I don't think I did. I think I got all 9. But we, you fight, you argue, but you get on the same page and you get a thing done. And when we think back to when we first started thinking about this and to where we are now, it is huge. We don't really know what the impact will be from the leaders who have just completed this class in our field, in their cities, or in this country. But we do know that you are better prepared, you are better connected to navigate your individual and your collective journeys. You know that because you said yes, we have created pathways for others to follow. We know that our field will be better and that more lives will be saved. But before I sit and go, I want to recognize my brother, Dr. Chico Tillman. Dr. Tillman's leadership and tenacity and his commitment to all of us, right, to always make sure people are seen, make sure people get what they need, make sure people are heard, is huge for us as a field. I just want to thank you, bro, for all of that. So thank you. I just want to thank everybody in this room for being here to celebrate with us. I want to do a special shout out. I got to meet Shiny Bug's mom when I was in the airport, so thank you, Mom, for being with us. And Arissa also reminded me that I need to thank my village. I need to thank my wife, my kids, and my family, because I know they're probably watching, and I want to make sure I don't get in trouble. I'm headed home tonight, so thank you for the reminder to support your village. But also just want to thank all of you all for being peacemakers for our country. Our country needs us and deserves the best from us. So again, I'm just excited to be on this journey with you. I'm blessed to be able to do this work with each of you all, and I just wish you all peace, and we'll see you soon, so thank you.
Thank you, Anthony and Arissa. And Arissa, my heart goes out to you for being a member of a club you never wanted to be a part of, and so many of others in the room that have experienced that. But that is why we are here. So thank you for being willing to turn your pain into the work that you do day in and day out to prevent others from going through that. I have the distinct honor now to bring up a dear friend, someone that I've known for a very long time, probably longer than some of you in this room have been alive. No, I'm sorry. I met her when she was a child. I get to introduce to the stage Assistant Attorney General Amy Solomon from the Office of Justice Programs. And thank you for also hosting our cohort yesterday. I've heard nothing but fabulous things about it. So we're going to get to hear about the work that she does overseeing allocations to support state and local and tribal communities and juvenile justice and victim services. So thank you.
Thank you, and good afternoon. What a day this is. Good afternoon, graduates. It is an honor to be here to join you all in this gorgeous historic room to celebrate our graduates, and I couldn't be more humbled and proud to be a part of this. I want to thank the Vice President and our friends at the White House in the new Office of Gun Violence Prevention for bringing us here, for bringing this community here, and for your steadfast leadership on reducing gun violence. You are helping our whole country move forward, and we are so happy to be working with such strong allies, so thank you. I also want to commend the University of Chicago, the Crime Lab, for your long time, steadfast commitment here, Jens and Rosanna and Dr. Chico Tillman. There is so much foresight in developing this curriculum with such incredible leaders in the field to develop the curriculum, and then to bring this Leadership Academy to life at a time where it couldn't be more critical. So just thank you for making this real, and we couldn't be more excited about it. I also want to give a shout out to my colleague Carlton Moore, who's the director of the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and whose leadership is so important in making this real at DOJ, the CVI work, so thank you for being here, Carlton Moore. Now, most importantly, I want to recognize and congratulate you, our new graduates. I had the privilege to host you yesterday at the Department of Justice with some of our leaders, and it was an incredible experience for all of us. We were listening hard, and we were so moved by your reflections, your experiences, your capstone projects, the challenges you raise. We have far to go, but also so many successes and wins and your foresight for where you're headed. So thank you for spending that time with us. It was certainly a highlight for the folks who are doing this work on the side of the Justice Department. We really loved, again, hearing about your work. We are awed by the life-saving, life-changing work that you're doing in your home communities every day. We see you as pioneers in this field, and we're so thrilled that you've committed your time and your talent. We know how hard it is to leave your home communities to spend time with this academy, right? But you are investing in the long-term future of yourselves as leaders, your organizations, and others who will come behind you. And make no mistake, we are committed to being partners with you over the long haul. We want to work to build this work to scale, quality and scale across the country. Our mission at the Office of Justice Programs is so tightly aligned with the work of CVI. At OJP, we are focused on using our federal resources to advance community safety, to build community trust, and to strengthen the role of community as co-producer of public safety. It's truly an honor then to be able to carry out and implement the work of the Community Violence Intervention and Prevention Initiative, which, as you know, is the first federal grant program that is specifically designed to support CVI work in the field. So I know many people in this room, inside government and outside government, had a huge role in bringing this initiative to a reality. And over the last 2 years, I want you to know that that was not in vain, that CVI has become a centerpiece of our work at the Office of Justice Programs. And here I am going to pause and give a big shout out to my esteemed colleague and good friend, Eddie Bocanegra. You all know this, you know this, but for the last 2 years, Eddie has served as our senior advisor for community violence intervention, and his leadership has been invaluable in shaping the design of the work and working with staff across the department and of course, continuing to work with all of you. I know you all have known Eddie for a long time now, back from his years when he was with Ready Chicago, maybe long before then at the Y and other places. But I can assure you that the federal team here benefits every single day from the experience and the expertise and the deep commitment that Eddie brings to this work. And you should know that he is always bringing your voice to the table. Every day, Eddie is bringing you into the room with us and shaping our work. He's also on the road constantly, you may know that, and he's bringing us along wherever we can. So together we've seen many of you in action. We've seen Brother Lyle in Miami. We've seen Erica Ford in New York. We've been to Baltimore. We've been to Chicago. We've been to Lowell. We've been to LA. And everywhere we go, we are so inspired by the clear difference that the work on the ground is making. And we hear in each of these cities stories about exposure to violence and its deep impact. We hear about pain, struggle, trauma, and also the burnout, that the hard work that you're doing and the toll that it takes on all the workers in this workforce. But we also always hear about hope. We always hear about optimism, and we always hear about the integrity with which violence interrupters are approaching this really tough work. During a recent site visit, we heard street intervention workers described as having hearts bigger than their bodies, who react like firefighters to emergency calls and who are planting seeds of hope in some of the hardest hit neighborhoods. So we know that for so many young people, the CVI organizations become their safe space, their home, their family, their communities, and that gives them the strength to resolve to build a better future for themselves and for their families. And this is what motivates us to do this work in DC. What we see on the ground is what is motivating us. And so over the past 2 years, the department has made unprecedented investments in CVI. With resources from the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act and appropriations, we've invested almost $200 million now in CVI programs. And we are taking an approach that really takes our cues from so many of you, that is community-driven, is community-centered, and it is equity-focused. The larger vision here, and I might be paraphrasing Dr. Tillman, is to grow and strengthen the CVI ecosystem so that it is a robust part of the public safety infrastructure in every jurisdiction around the country. That is where we're headed. Specifically, the CVI grants so far have gone to 76 sites in 29 states, including a number of the organizations and jurisdictions represented here. Grantees are employing credible messengers to mediate conflicts. They're interrupting cycles of violence and building bridges to opportunity for those who are most at risk of violence. Many of the grants are going to CBOs, others are going to city-led collaboratives, and 4 are going to states that have multiple CVI sites within them. And it is exciting to see that grantees are drawing on cross-sector partnerships, working with hospitals and public health departments, housing agencies, educational entities, workforce development providers, survivors of gun violence, and officials really at all levels of government. And in fact, in this recent cohort of new grantees, nearly 2/3 had active relationships with law enforcement in their jurisdictions. We're also supporting 7 organizations with deep expertise and credibility in the CVI space to serve as intermediaries to smaller CBOs. These larger organizations are providing both funding, it's kind of like micro grants, but they're bigger than that, and they're also helping small community-rooted agencies not only access the resources, but get the TA and the capacity building work to help make them stronger organizations that are going to be able to work over the long term. We know that these CBOs, like all of yours in the room, have deep ties to community and that they are often the best position to deliver the high impact interventions. And so we hope that this new intermediary strategy is going to be an approach that's going to help us build the bench and strengthen the CVI ecosystem. We're also providing tailored technical assistance to the field via the amazing community-based public safety collective, LISC, Heartland Alliance, and many other partners. And we're standing up a resource center that is going to offer free training and technical assistance, not only to grantees, but really to any organization that wants to learn about CVI, whether they're a grantee or not. And finally, we're supporting research and evaluation so that we can continue to build the evidence base to tell the story and to continue to learn what works to reduce violence. I'm proud of the progress that we've made, but there's so much that we need to do to meet the moment, and we stand ready to work with you to go there. In the coming weeks, we're going to post more funding opportunities to grow the CVI field further and support many other public safety efforts around the country. In fact, just yesterday, the Department of Justice announced what we call our program plan for fiscal year 24, which forecasts over 200 different funding opportunities designed to support state and local justice efforts. The program plan is a searchable database. It should be a useful tool for you. So you can take a look, search by keyword, whatever way you like, to get a sense of what is coming out this year as a funding opportunity. So you'll be well prepared to find your partners and apply for those funds. Now, in closing, let me acknowledge that we understand just how personal this work is for so many of you. In many cases, your commitment grew out of your own experience with violence, and it became a pledge to spare others from the pain and the grief that you suffered. That is why I am urging you, as leaders who have walked this road and who have lived this work, to carry what you've gained from your experience with the Academy to bring it back to your home communities. Each of you is in a position to make your organizations even stronger than it is now, to use what you've learned to inspire your peers and to deliver the extra dose of hope in ways that no one else can. You see the potential and the humanity in people that not everyone does. Do not underestimate your power as force multipliers. Your compassion, skills, commitment, and integrity help create a pathway for so many more leaders in this field. With respect, you carry a great burden, a burden of responsibility, and we look to you to be the difference in your communities. So we look forward to working with you over the coming months and years, and we are so proud to call you partners and to call ourselves partners of yours. So keep up the good work. A huge congratulations. Thank you, and we look forward to what's ahead.
All right, thank you, Amy. That was really wonderful, and keep up the great work. We need the resources. So we're in the home stretch. I am so excited. I've been waiting for, the whole program has been amazing in my humble opinion, but to get to hear from two of our graduates. We're bringing up Maisha Watkins. Aisha Watkins from Ohio and Jason Little from our hometown of Chicago. So welcome.
Woo. Good afternoon, everyone. It's such an honor to be here. I reflect on my first time coming to the White House, and I was begging and pleading to Marcus and Dr. Chico as I could not find my space in a male-dominated field, and I said, please just give me everything that y'all have, and I promised that I would do my best to continue this work in Cleveland. And I just want to say thank you so much from that day and to this day for continuing to bring me in spaces so that I can create safe communities in Cleveland. So thank you. So this is just not a regular graduation ceremony. It's a moment of extraordinary significance. We are the pioneers, the ones who dare to challenge the status quo and to ignite transformative change. I am the first in my family to achieve remarkable milestones. I understand the weight of the responsibility that comes with breaking barriers. Today, I proudly represent the inaugural cohort of CVI LA 21 Love Salute, a group of fearless individuals who is ready to make lasting impact. But this moment is so much more than just about me. It's a celebration of the collective experience of the remarkable women in this cohort. Like me, they have faced skepticism and obstacles in male-dominated spaces. Yet, in the face of doubt and adversity, we stand here today unyielding and grateful from the unwavering support of the men in our cohort, our mentors who believed in us, our kindness, and our qualifications. My fellow women, I stand before you today to remind you that we are united on this extraordinary journey. Our diverse experiences and perspectives have equipped us with the resilience and the strength to navigate the challenges that lie ahead. In the fight against gun violence, I have personally encountered numerous hurdles as a woman, but I firmly believe that it is through our collective voices and our unwavering determination that we will make lasting impact. Echoing the truth that well-behaved women rarely make history. These words serve as a reminder that it's often through our bold action and breathtaking societal norms that change is brought forth. As we stand together, shoulder to shoulder, in this battle against gun violence, let us embrace our uniqueness, our resilience, and our unwavering commitment to making a difference. My fellow women, I extend my heartfelt gratitude for our unwavering dedication and our shared cause of fostering safer communities and eradicating gun violence. Together we stand on the shoulders of those who come before us and have paved the way alongside those who continue to lead the path. Each moment spent in this endeavor feels like an eternity as we mourn with grieving families, rebuild communities shattered by tragedy, and rejoice the long overdue investment in community violence intervention. Our tears, mingling with both sorrow and joy, nourish those who have felt hopeless in the face of loss. Our presence and commitment are indispensable in ensuring that every individual can reside in neighborhoods free of gun violence. Our sisterhood is a force to be reckoned with. As we stand here today, united across 21 cities, let us never underestimate the power of our collective impact. I reflect on the moments when handshakes turned into hugs, relationships expanded beyond the classrooms, and our journey from colleagues to homegirls began, and it initiated immediate healing. As we reminded one another of the possibilities for women in this movement, promoting a shift in our conversation from asking to demanding, as the curriculum honed on our skills. In the face of adversity, let us draw on the inspiration from this poem, The Test of a Woman. With her head held high, bloody, bruised, and pale, it is the woman who will win, fate defied, for she isn't afraid to fail. Let these words guide us as resilient women confronting trials. Together, let us embrace the journey ahead, knowing that failure is merely a stepping stone on a path to greatness. Today, we stand at the pinnacle of collective efforts, a testament of the commitment that each of you have and bring to the table. Regardless of whether you wear heels or sneakers, our determination to save lives remains resolute, and we strive to make a difference each and every day. I stand before you humble and honored. We carry the weight of the crown with grace and fortitude, fully aware of the immense responsibility that comes with it. But let me reassure you, my fellow champions, that we are not alone in this journey. We are united, empowered, and ready to conquer any challenge that comes our way. With gratitude in our hearts, we march forward, knowing together we can and will achieve greatness. I am not just an individual, but a living embodiment of a powerful legacy. Being a Black woman, I carry with me the strength, resilience, and determination that has been passed down through generations. I am a product of the love, sacrifice, and support of my grandmother, my mother, my sister, my friends, and my fellow sisters of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. But above all, I stand here today as a mother to my beautiful children, Elle and Corey. They are my driving force, my inspiration, and the reason why I continue to fight tirelessly against gun violence. Every decision I make, every step I take is fueled by the desire to make a safer world for them and for future generations. In this remarkable moment, I am reminded of the profound significance of representation. As one among many, I stand here with the immense pride, knowing that our diverse stories, experiences, and voices have the power to create a vibrant change. Let this moment serve as a resounding testament to the strength of our unity, extraordinary impact that we can achieve when we stand together with a collective force. Thank you.
You know, I was standing back here on the stage, and I saw Dr. Lance sitting back there. And I remember the first day I met Dr. Lance, he said, "I want you to meet my guy." And I'm like, "Who's your guy?" He said, "His name is Chico." So, when Chico pulled up, I didn't expect, African American to pull up, but my brother pulled up, and that bond, that relationship was built then from that point until here we're at now. But I had to see, I saw Dr. Lance, and I see a few others, but definitely Dr. Lance, who put a lot of us where we are, help and support. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, faculty, dignitaries, and fellow graduates. As I stand before you today, I'm reminded of the immense privilege and responsibility that comes with this platform I've been given. It's not just an opportunity to address you all or to describe the captivating experience I had learning and growing in the inaugural Community Violence Intervention Leadership Academy. These past 6 months, but a chance to advocate for a cause that's close to my heart, violence prevention. Let me take you back to a moment that forever changed the trajectory of my life. At the age of 21, I became a survivor of gun violence. In the blink of an eye, my world shattered, and I was plunged into a darkness so deep, I feared I would never find my way back to the light. They told me I would never stand or walk again. And in that moment, hope felt like a distant dream. But standing before you today, I am a living proof that miracles do happen. I am standing tall, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. A testament to the resilience of the human spirit. And as I look at each and every one of you, I'm reminded of the countless souls who have helped me along this journey. The friends who held my hand. The family who lift me up. And the strangers who became my fierce advocates. Violence isn't just a headline. It's a wound that cuts deep into the fabric of our societies, leaving behind a trail of broken dreams and shattered lives. But it's also a call to action, a rallying cry for all of us who stand and say, enough is enough. In the face of such adversity, we must remember the power that lies within each of us to enact the change. And today, as we step into the next chapter of our lives, let us make a collective commitment to be agents of peace and catalysts for positive transformation. Violence prevention begins with education and awareness. It's about challenging harmful attitudes and behaviors and promoting empathy, respect, and understanding. It's about creating safe spaces where everyone feels valued and empowered to speak out against injustice. For the past 6 months, we have journeyed together through the Community Violence Leadership Academy. And in that time, we became more than just classmates. We have become a family bound by a shared mission. We learned the importance about CVI ecosystem, the collaboration, the coordination, and the coalition building. We leave the program better equipped to build bridges in our cities and engage a diverse range of partners in the CVI effort. As we embark on this journey beyond these walls, let us be vigilant in recognizing the signs of violence and standing up against oppression in all forms. Let us be allies to those who marginalize and oppress, amplify their voices, and advocating for systematic change. Together, let us be the architects of a new tomorrow, a tomorrow where love trumps over trauma, where compassion reigns supreme, and wherever our voices is heard and valued, but perhaps most important, let us lead by example. Let our actions speak louder than our words as we demonstrate compassion, kindness, and integrity in all interactions. Let us build bridges instead of walls and sow seeds of peace wherever we go. My fellow graduates, I thought Vaughn was going to, no. My fellow graduates, the road ahead may be challenging, but I am confident with our collective determination and solidarity, we can create a world free from violence. Let us be the generation that refuses to accept the status quo, that dares to dream for a brighter future and works tirelessly to make dreams a reality. We can significantly reduce gun violence. Thank you.
That was worth waiting for. Thank you both. That is so inspiring. If ever you needed evidence that this work matters, thank you both. Thank you so much. I feel sorry for you a little bit, Rob, having to come up after this, but if anybody can do it, you can do it. I'm so delighted and honored to be able to invite Rob Wilcox up to the stage. He's the Deputy Director of the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. Thank you and your entire team for hosting this. I remember that first meeting. I was skeptical that we would actually be able to do this, and you guys came through. So thank you so much for hosting us here and for being the visionary leaders to create this office and implement it. I think you've already exceeded everybody's expectations about what this office was going to be able to do, and you're not even a year in. So I want to bring you up to the stage, and thank you personally for everything.
Good afternoon. No one in this room should feel sorry for me because I am surrounded with hope. I'm surrounded with optimism, and I'm surrounded about the future that we are all fighting for tomorrow. Because I might work at the White House, but you belong at the White House. This isn't just your room, this is your house. And you have earned, the 31 of you from 21 states, these seats and this recognition and the ability that we will support as you do the work of saving lives. I'm proud to represent my office, and I come to this work as a proud son of Brooklyn. And as someone who's lost a family member to gun violence. And we in this room, especially the graduates, we bring the pain of our past to the work for a safer future by pouring into the present. We pour that pain into purpose. We pour our heartbreak into hope. And it's beyond an honor to share a space with you, to recognize the importance of investing in community violence intervention strategies that I can tell you are a pillar of the work of the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention. It's an honor to lift the work that you're doing that's been happening across the country, led by Black and brown leaders for too long, that went without both funding and recognition from the federal government. I commend the University of Chicago for developing this program, a pathway to create ecosystem, to create progress, to create relationship, and to keep this work going into the next generation. I specifically want to recognize champion Dr. Chico Tillman for his leadership and tenacity. And I could not also recognize the long-standing leaders of this movement, Erica Ford, Marcus McAllister, Dr. Bugs, Dr. Antonio, Arisa, Anthony, and Amber. President Biden and Vice President Harris are champions of community violence intervention, and they have directed us, as the White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention, to do all we can to support this work. And we have done a lot of work, as was said, for 4 months, but we know there is a lot more work to do. But it's not just about the words that we have a lot to do or that we are committed. I want to run you through quickly the actions, because words without actions are not going to get us to the place that we know we have to get. So I want to talk about President Biden's very first executive action on gun violence prevention. Look, we know there's a lot of important issues when it comes to this issue, from our schools to our kids at home to people who might harm themselves. But his very first action was about community violence. His very first action was directing 26 grant programs across the government to support your work. And that's because it's not just about one agency or one person doing one thing. It is about people across the government asking themselves, how do they serve the communities that need it most? The president has taken more executive actions than any president in history, digging deep into how do we invest more resources. An example is the American Rescue Plan, a law that passed to try to help our communities get out when we were suffering from the COVID pandemic. But what did this administration do? It made sure there was clear guidance to say, let us use those funds not just to invest in public health, but doubly invest in public health by focusing on community violence intervention. And so what did that mean? It meant $2 billion went into this work. for the cities to build strategies and for organizations. He uses these executive actions not just to invest, but to get at the source of some of these illegal guns. We know that there's companies out there profiting from illegal guns that they sell, illegal guns that they make. For example, there's companies that make parts that anyone can order, bring to their house, and that gun is made and has no background check, it has no serial number, and it ends up in the hands of our kids. And we know because those are the guns that are being recovered. Those are ghost guns. Instead of just talking about ghost guns, what the president did was said, we're going to go right to the source. And he is regulating the people that make, market, profit from those ghost guns. He's led the way on passing the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first gun safety law in 30 years. What makes that law important is not that it's just about background checks. It's not about how we're going to prohibit domestic abusers from having guns and have a gun trafficking law. Those are good and important features. It's important because it's the first time we saw a gun safety law that didn't just include policies, but include resources. $15 billion in resources. Look, we have seen how investing in you, in community violence intervention strategies, in getting at the source of illegal guns can make a difference. In 2023, we saw an 11% drop in homicide in this country. In the cities that invest the most in community violence intervention, we saw the biggest drops. But look, progress does not give us room to pause. Let me hear it. Because instead of pausing, my girl Erica, look, instead of pausing, what this White House did, what this president did is said, I need to accelerate and I need to expand these efforts, and I'm going to create a White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention to be part of your ecosystem. We are serving you. We are serving you with resources, with lifting up, and to do everything we can to make sure you have what you need to do one of the hardest jobs in America that has gone unseen, unserved, under-resourced for too long. Look, the president gave us some clear jobs. He said, implement the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, come up with new executive actions, build state and local partnerships, and ensure that survivors of gun violence have the resources they need to recover. Because as my good friend Greg Jackson always says to me, it's not that hurt people, it's that healed people heal people. So what are we doing? What does that mean, implement? It means we're investing more money in youth mental health in history. This law is putting $1 billion into our schools, hiring mental health workers to go into the schools that we serve and that we know need it most. And to put that $1 billion into context, into people, there are 40,000 school-based counselors right now. This law will add 14,000 new and trained school mental health counselors. 14,000 people doing this work, mental health work. We're here to support our partners at Office of Justice Program, Assistant Attorney General Solomon, Director Moore, Senior Advisor Bocanegra. We are here to support the first ever direct funding source for community violence intervention and prevention. The first ever. Why does it matter? It matters because what we know is it's not about 1 year of funding. It's about long-term, sustained, dedicated funding to your work. And that is what this administration believes in. We believe in not just being here for you last year or this year, but the years to come. Now, this office is overseen by the Vice President, and how much did we love her remarks? Our Vice President passionately cares about this issue. And she oversees our work, and I can tell you she pushes us every single day. What more can we do? Is it effective? How do we know? Are you lifting up? Where can I go? And so she keeps us on our toes, so we're working 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. But that work is a privilege. This office is directed by Steph Feldman. She's a leading expert in policy. She is one of the brightest minds and most compassionate bosses I have ever had. But she also made a choice. She made a choice to hire 2 gun violence survivors to staff this office and make sure this is an office run by gun violence survivors for gun violence survivors. Thank you, Steph. And I have to give special recognition to someone we all know, my co-deputy director, a champion for unlocking resources, a lover of football, Greg Jackson. Look, LeBron needs Dwayne. Shaq needs Kobe. Montana needs Rice. Like, we know it takes two. We're not gonna use Batman and Robin though, that's not quite right. Oh, hey, oh. I mean, float like a bird. Look, we're at the end of Community Violence Awareness Week. Community Violence Awareness Week. That was the vision of Greg, and it was bought into by Steph, me, and the President of the United States. So what has that week meant? It meant that we brought together state legislators and leaders to talk about community violence, to talk about solutions and investment and how to support survivors. It meant that we held the largest ever workshop with our federal agency partners talking about resources. This was the largest attended workshop we heard of this administration talking about resources for community violence intervention, and we thank our partners at the Department of Justice, Department of Labor, Department of Education for coming through to talk about resources. Yesterday, Greg and I went to Philadelphia. We met with some incredible community leaders. We saw work on the ground. We went to Temple University to see how they treat survivors and the hospital-based violence interventions programs that they've employed to reduce violence. We met with NOMO, an organization that serves youth in the community. We met with PowerCorps, funded with AmeriCorps dollars, providing a pathway for those who are connected to justice, but giving them a chance to pick up skills and get into the workforce, serving people 18 to 30. And I cannot tell you how proud we are to end this first ever Community Violence Awareness Week with all of you. Look, the President has written a public message that you've all received. He has signed his name on this message, and I'm just gonna read a couple lines. You all have it, you can bring it home. But on February 4th, 2024, the President of these United States said, "I am honored to recognize this week as Community Violence Awareness Week. I am proud of the progress we've made to combat gun violence, but we have more work to do. This Community Violence Awareness Week let us recommit to delivering reliable, sustained, and long-term solutions to intervene and prevent community violence. This is where he calls on not just the people in this room, but all of us. We need leaders at all levels of government, law enforcement, community advocates, survivors, service providers, frontline workers, youth leaders, friends, families, and communities to come together to end this scourge of violence that is stealing the futures of too many across this country. Together, I know we can deliver justice to those we have lost and prevent future senseless acts of community violence. Keep the faith." Signed, President Joe Biden. Look, I congratulate every single one of you for pouring into this work, and we've been asked, is this the end? Graduations are an end. But this one isn't. It's not even the beginning of the end. It is simply the end of the beginning. It's because we are now entering into a new place where we have the ecosystem of leaders on the ground, at the city and state level, and yes, in the White House. The White House. Saying this work is the essential component in solving violence in America. So, I congratulate all of you. I thank you for being here with us in your room, in your house. And to those who are not graduates, please join me in congratulating them. Let's go. All right, I'd like to invite Dr. Chico Tillman, Marcus McAllister, Erica Ford, and Steph Feldman to the stage to help distribute your certificates.
Quickly, several text messages from the class that want me to acknowledge the people that took the journey with them that was a part of my staff. Kimberly Smith, could you please? Marcus McAllister, and the person that holds us all together, Alicia, and none other than Mark Saint. Secondly, we talked about an immersive experience, and two of the people that led the immersive experience are in the house today, and we must acknowledge our partners. We do have somebody from Live Free, I'm sorry. Our first immersive experience was none other in what has been labeled the safest city in the United States, New York, none other than Life Camp and Erica Ford. Along with Kipper Kears and A.U. Hogan. At the second city, we did it at home in Chicago, and we did it none other than UCAN, and we have the CEO and President, Krista Hamilton. Could you please stand up? And the final immersive experience was in Oakland, and we did it none other with Live Free USA. Lastly, I want to say one thing. I got to acknowledge my family and my spiritual father, my pastor, and my first lady for allowing me to go out and do this work, for sacrificing me and allowing me to be away from home. So I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. And I thank all the other families that allow us to do this work. Because so many times we miss things at home to be out doing this work. And y'all are so selfless for understanding the mission that God has given to us. And now, for the moment you've been waiting for, the graduates. Could everyone stand in the front row? Go this way. The first one we have is Maisha Watkins. Jason Little. Clifford Skip Townsend. Daniel Zamora. Anthony Jennings. Olivia Langley. Dante Johnson. David Williams. D'Angelo Harris Rosa. Dwayne Comer. Dewan Kennedy. Edwin Goodletty. Faith Henderson. Freedom Jones. Guadalupe Washington. Juanita Pye. Javon Davis. Julius Thibodeau Hassan. Rodney Phillips. Deputy Mayor Lakeisha Ewing. Leonard Dungy. Brother Lyle Muhammad. Nicole Myers. Rashida Fatuga. Rashawn Brown. Samuel Castro. Dr. Sherry Rafai. Sierra Ellis. Tony McNeil. And that concludes, and I turn it back over to Rosanna.
Let's let Chico have the last word, and thank you for making this happen. This really was Dr. Tillman's vision. We were so privileged to be a place that all of you who worked on this entrusted this work, and we are profoundly indebted to each of the graduates. We cannot wait to celebrate, have a DJ, have a great time, and honor each of you tonight. So we'll see you at the party, and I think that's it for the live stream, I believe. Do you want to have the very last word? I'd love for you to.
What an amazing afternoon. In order to do something like this, like we did today, we can't do it without partnership. I didn't get a chance earlier, but I gotta thank you, Steph, for your leadership, you, Greg, you, Rob, but also I gotta give a super shout out to Sarah. Sarah worked tirelessly behind the scene, And I want to give her flowers now in front of her boss so you can know, hey, you got something special there. I want to close by asking you to picture something. Imagine throwing a rock into a pond. Now think about the ripple effect that it causes. Gun violence has that same ripple effect. When one person is shot in our community, siblings and parents are traumatized, small businesses suffer, taxpayers in the city bear about $15 million in direct costs, $1.5 million in direct costs. Over the course of a year, that adds up to a lot of trauma, a lot of suffering, and a lot of money. About $250 billion nationally. That's a big pebble. But what we're doing here today also has a ripple effect. These 31 students will bring the education they received back to their programs. They'll teach the lessons they learned to their staff. Their staff will one day grow into the future leaders of this field. And as we build out those ripples, we're going to save lives and change communities. But I don't want to be a pebble. I want to be a boulder. And that requires all of us, whether you're an elected official, a White House staffer, or just a concerned citizen. With your support, more CVI leaders from across the country will receive this education in the years to come, and together we'll end community violence in America. Together. I charge you to get involved, to make a difference, and stop Black and brown children from dying. Thank you.